Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Anchor podcast. I'm Mia, and as always, I'm here with Leo. Grab something warm and let's get cozy.
Hi everyone, good to have you here with us again.
Leo, quick question before we start properly. Do you plan your weekends, or do you just let them happen?
Honestly, a bit of both. I used to be a let-it-happen person, and then I'd get to Sunday evening feeling like the weekend had disappeared.
That feeling is the worst.
It really is. So now I plan maybe one thing, just one anchor for the weekend, and everything else is flexible.
One anchor. I like that. What's this weekend's anchor?
Saturday morning market with my sister. That's it. That's the whole plan.
Perfect, because that's exactly what we're doing today. We're talking about weekend plans, and more importantly, how to talk about them naturally in English.
Which sounds simple until someone asks you on a Friday afternoon and your brain goes completely blank.
Let's fix that. So Leo, tell me properly about Saturday. Why the market?
My sister moved to a new neighborhood about 3 months ago, and there's this small farmer's market that opens at 7 in the morning. She's been asking me to come for weeks.
7 in the morning on a Saturday. That's commitment.
That's what I said, but she made a good argument. She said if we go at 7, we get the good bread. If we go at 9, we get the sad bread.
The sad bread.
The bread that's been sitting there for 2 hours. It's not bad bread, but it's not the same.
Okay, she's right. So what's the actual plan? Walk me through it.
We're meeting at her place at 6:30. She lives about a 10-minute walk from the market. We'll do the market, get bread, get vegetables. Probably get coffee, because we'll both need it.
And then?
And then nothing. That's the beauty of it. We'll go back to her place, put everything away, and she'll probably make breakfast. And by 10 in the morning, my whole weekend plan is finished, and I have the rest of the day free.
Oh, that's clever. You front-load the plan.
Exactly. I get the good part done early, and then the rest of the weekend feels like a bonus.
See, I do the opposite and it stresses me out. I put everything on Sunday afternoon.
Why Sunday afternoon?
Because on Friday I feel like I have infinite time. 2 whole days. So I say yes to everything and I schedule nothing. And then Saturday evening arrives and I panic.
And suddenly Sunday has 6 things in it.
6 things and a load of laundry. So I spend Sunday rushing, and Monday morning I feel like I never rested.
That's a really common pattern, actually. I think a lot of people do that.
I think the problem is that Friday me and Sunday me are 2 completely different people who never speak to each other.
That's very true. Friday me is extremely optimistic. Friday me believes I will wake up at 6 on a Saturday and go for a run.
And Saturday me?
Saturday me wakes up at 9 and looks at the running shoes with genuine confusion. Like, who put these here? Who made these promises?
Friday me made those promises, and Friday me is not around to deal with the consequences.
Friday me has left the building.
So what's this weekend looking like for you beyond the market? Anything else, or are you keeping it genuinely open?
I'd like to keep it open, but there's one thing hanging over me. I've been meaning to fix the shelf in my kitchen for about 6 weeks now.
6 weeks.
6 weeks. It's a bit loose on one side, and every time I put something heavy on it, I hear a small sound and I think, not today.
That's a great way to live.
It's a terrible way to live, but it's a 20-minute job and I keep pushing it to next weekend.
Why do you think you keep postponing it?
Because it's not urgent, nothing's broken, it's just slightly wrong, and slightly wrong things are very easy to ignore.
That's actually really true. The urgent stuff gets done. The slightly wrong stuff lives forever.
And the strange thing is, thinking about it has taken more energy than fixing it would. 6 weeks of small thoughts. I should fix that. I'll do it Sunday. Not today.
So the shelf has actually cost you more than 20 minutes.
The shelf has cost me hours, just spread out in tiny pieces where I don't notice them.
That's genuinely something I need to hear, because I have 3 of those in my flat right now.
What are yours?
A drawer that doesn't close properly, a light bulb in the hallway that's been dead since May, and a box of things I said I'd donate, which has now been by the front door long enough that I've stopped seeing it.
The invisible box.
Completely invisible. Someone came over last week and asked what was in it, and I genuinely had to think about it.
So maybe this weekend is the weekend. Market in the morning, shelf in the afternoon.
Now you've said it out loud on a podcast. That's a commitment.
That's a trap is what that is.
Same thing. What about you? What's your weekend actually looking like?
Yes, tell me your Sunday afternoon disaster plan.
It's not a disaster yet. Right now it's just ambitious. So Saturday, I'm meeting a friend for lunch. She's back in the city for a few days.
How long has it been?
Since March, maybe. She moved for work, and we've been doing that thing where we message each other every 2 weeks, saying we should call properly, and then never calling properly.
I know that exact conversation.
Everyone knows that conversation, so it'll be good to actually sit down with her.
Where are you meeting?
There's a small place near the station that does really good soup. It's nothing fancy, but it's quiet, and we can sit for 2 hours without anyone asking us to leave.
That's the real quality of a restaurant, isn't it? Not the food. The ability to sit there for 2 hours.
Completely. I'd choose average food and a good table over amazing food and a rush table every single time.
Especially when you haven't seen someone in months. You need the first 40 minutes just to get through the surface stuff.
That's exactly it. The first 40 minutes is work updates and how's your family and the flat is fine. The real conversation doesn't start until the plates are gone.
And if the restaurant is turning tables, you never get there.
You leave feeling like you saw her but didn't actually talk to her.
Okay, so lunch on Saturday. What else?
Saturday evening I'm free, which I'm protecting fiercely, and then Sunday is where it gets complicated.
Go on.
My cousin's birthday lunch at 1. My neighbor asked if I could help her move a wardrobe at some point, and I told myself I'd do a proper clean of the flat, because it's getting to the stage where I'm embarrassed.
That's 3 things.
That's 3 things, and one of them is moving a wardrobe, which is not really a some-point activity. That's a scheduled event whether I like it or not.
Right, because someone else's whole afternoon depends on when you show up.
Exactly. And I haven't actually pinned down a time with her, which means it's sitting in my head as this vague gray shape somewhere in the middle of Sunday.
Those are the worst kind of plans. Not because they're hard, but because they occupy the whole day.
They do. An unscheduled task doesn't take an hour. It takes the entire day, because you can't relax around it.
So step 1 is just message her and fix a time.
Step 1 is message her and fix a time. See, this is why I need this conversation.
So what would you cut?
I don't think I can cut the birthday. That's family.
Agreed, that one's fixed.
And the wardrobe is a favor I already said yes to, so cutting it would make me a bad neighbor.
Which leaves the cleaning.
Which leaves the cleaning, and the cleaning is the one I actually need most, because a messy flat on Monday morning genuinely affects my mood for the whole week.
Then move it. Do it Saturday evening.
But Saturday evening is my protected free time.
Is it free time if you spend all of it thinking about the cleaning you haven't done?
Oh, that's annoyingly fair.
I'm just saying, sometimes the thing you're protecting isn't actually rest. It's just avoidance with better branding.
Avoidance with better branding. I'm writing that down.
Take it. It's free.
Okay, so realistically, Saturday evening I clean for an hour. Not a deep clean, just enough that Sunday doesn't feel like it's collapsing.
An hour is enough. You're not renovating.
An hour is enough, and then Sunday is birthday lunch, wardrobe, and genuinely nothing else.
That sounds like an actual weekend rather than a schedule.
And I notice I already feel better, and I haven't done anything yet. I've just decided.
That's the whole thing, though. Half the weight of a busy weekend is the undecided part.
Here's something I want to ask you, because I think about this a lot. Do you think weekends should have a purpose, or should they just be empty?
That's a big question.
It's a Friday afternoon question.
I think they need one thing that you'll remember. Not a schedule. Just one moment. Because otherwise the weekend becomes invisible.
Invisible how?
You know when someone asks you on Tuesday, "How was your weekend?" and you genuinely cannot remember. You know you weren't working, you know you were at home, but there's no actual memory there.
Yes. And then you say, quiet, nothing much, and you feel a bit sad about it.
That's the invisible weekend, and I think that happens when there's no single thing to attach the memory to.
So your market trip is the memory anchor.
That's the anchor. Even if the rest of the weekend is just laundry and scrolling, I'll remember standing in the cold at 7 in the morning with my sister arguing about bread.
That's a good memory. That's a better memory than most planned events.
Because it's specific. Big plans are often generic. We went to a restaurant, fine, but we got the last loaf of sourdough and my sister carried it home like a baby. That's a story.
Okay, that changed how I'm thinking about Saturday lunch. That's not just lunch, that's my friend being back in the city.
Exactly. Same activity, different weight.
And I think this is where a lot of people go wrong with weekends. They think they need a bigger plan, when actually they need a clearer one.
Yes, bigger doesn't mean more memorable. Some of my worst weekends have been the busiest ones.
Say more about that.
There was a weekend last year where I had something on Friday night, a whole day out on Saturday, and a family thing on Sunday. 3 good events.
That sounds great on paper.
It sounds fantastic on paper, and by Sunday evening I was so tired that I couldn't really remember any of them properly. They all blurred into one long, expensive, tiring blur.
Because you never had the space between them to actually process anything.
Exactly. You need the boring gaps. The gaps are where the memory forms.
That's a really nice way to say it. The quiet part isn't wasted, it's where everything settles.
And it's also just physically necessary. You cannot go from Monday to Friday work directly into Saturday to Sunday activity and expect to be a functional person.
And yet every Friday I try.
Every Friday we all try.
Let me ask you something more practical, because our listeners are going to need this. When someone asks you, "What are you doing this weekend?" what's actually going on grammatically? Because I hear learners get stuck here.
Right, this is the useful part. Most of the time, you're talking about arrangements you've already made. So you use the present continuous.
Give me an example.
I'm meeting my sister on Saturday. I'm going to a birthday lunch on Sunday. It's happening in the future, but you use the ang form because it's arranged.
And that trips people up, because it feels like present tense.
It does, but native speakers use it constantly for future plans. If something is fixed, if you've agreed it with another person, it's almost always present continuous.
What about the things that aren't fixed?
Then you move to going to. I'm going to clean the flat. Nobody else is involved. There's no arrangement. It's just your intention.
So intention is going to, arrangement is ing.
That's a clean way to put it. And then there's the third one, which is the vague one.
Might.
Might. I might fix the shelf. Which, as we've established, means I probably won't.
That's the honest tense.
That's the honest tense. And it's genuinely useful, because in real conversation you often don't know. I might go for a run, I might not. Nobody expects certainty about a Sunday afternoon.
Can we run through my weekend using all three? Just so people can hear the difference in one place.
Go for it.
I'm having lunch with a friend on Saturday. That's arranged. We've agreed a time and a place.
Present continuous. Correct.
I'm going to clean the flat on Saturday evening. That's my intention. Nobody else is involved, and honestly, nobody else wants to be involved.
Going to. Correct.
I might get to the donation box, which means the box is staying by the door.
The box is staying by the door.
And notice how natural that sounds when you put them together. Nobody's thinking about grammar in that sentence, but all three forms are doing different work.
That's the goal. You're not learning 3 rules, you're learning 3 levels of certainty.
Certain, intended, possible.
Certain, intended, possible. If you remember that, you don't need the grammar names at all.
Can we do a quick practical thing? Someone asks you on Friday, any plans for the weekend? What's a good full answer? Not just nothing much.
Okay, something like, not too much. Actually, I'm seeing my sister on Saturday morning. We're going to a market near her place. And then I might finally fix a shelf I've been ignoring for 6 weeks.
That's good. That's 3 sentences, and it gives the other person something to reply to.
That's the key. Nothing much ends the conversation. Even one small detail keeps it going.
Because now I can ask, what kind of market? Or, what's wrong with the shelf?
Right. You've given me a door. And that's really what small talk is. It's not about impressive plans. It's about giving the other person somewhere to go.
And you should also ask it back. That's the part people forget.
That's true. You answer, then you turn it around. What about you? Doing anything?
4 words, and now it's a conversation instead of an interview.
And it takes the pressure off you, which is usually what learners actually want.
That's such a useful reframe. I think a lot of learners feel like their weekend isn't interesting enough to talk about.
Nobody's weekend is interesting. That's the secret. Everyone is doing laundry and seeing one friend and thinking about a shelf.
And that's fine.
That's completely fine. The interest comes from how you talk about it, not what you did.
What about the Monday version? When someone asks, how was your weekend, and it's already finished?
Then you're in the past, so you're mostly using past simple. I went to the market. I saw a friend. I fixed the shelf, hopefully.
Hopefully. And the same rule applies, doesn't it? One detail.
One detail. It was good. I went to a market at 7 in the morning, which was a mistake, but the bread was worth it.
That's a whole story in one sentence.
And it took no extra effort. I just added why it mattered.
What about when you don't have plans at all? Genuinely nothing?
Then say that, but say it with intention. There's a difference between I have no plans and I'm deliberately doing nothing this weekend. I need it.
The second one sounds like a choice.
Because it is a choice. Rest is a plan. It just doesn't sound like one.
I like that. So on Monday, when someone asks how your weekend was, you can say, genuinely restful. I did almost nothing on purpose.
And that's a real answer. Better than quiet, you know.
Let's take some useful words from today's conversation, because a few good ones came up, and they're all very usable.
Let's do it.
First one, deliberately, deliberately, deliberately.
That's a strong one.
Deliberately means doing something on purpose, with clear intention, rather than by accident. Example, I deliberately left Saturday evening free, so I wouldn't feel rushed on Sunday.
And that's a word that makes you sound in control. It's the difference between something happening to you and you choosing it.
Exactly. Next word. Postpone. Postpone. Postpone.
This one I know very well.
To postpone something means to move it to a later time, to delay it. Example, I keep postponing the shelf, but this weekend I'm actually going to do it.
Note that it's a bit more formal than put off. Both work, but postpone is the one you'd use in an email.
Good distinction. Third word. Fiercely. Fiercely. Fiercely.
You used this one earlier about your Saturday evening.
I did. Fiercely means doing something with a lot of energy and determination. Protecting something strongly. Example, I protect my Saturday evenings fiercely because that's the only time I get to switch off.
It's a word with heat in it. You wouldn't use it for something you mildly prefer.
Right. It's for the things you actually defend. Next one. Realistically. Realistically. Realistically.
Very useful in planning conversations.
Realistically means considering what is actually possible, not what you'd like to be possible. Example, realistically, I can only do 2 of these 3 things on Sunday.
And it's a really natural way to start a sentence when you're being honest about limits. Realistically, that's not going to happen.
Perfect. Fifth word, arrangement. Arrangement. Arrangement.
This one connects to the grammar we talked about.
An arrangement is a plan you've agreed with another person, something organized in advance. Example, I've got an arrangement with my sister for Saturday morning, so I can't move it.
And that's exactly why you use present continuous for arrangements. It's fixed because someone else is involved.
Nice link. Last word. Specific. Specific. Specific.
The word that makes every story better.
Specific means detailed and exact, rather than general or vague. Example, be specific when you talk about your weekend. The details are what make it interesting.
And that's really the summary of this whole episode. Specific beats impressive.
Every time. So that's 6 words. Deliberately, postpone, fiercely, realistically, arrangement, and specific.
Try using 2 of them this weekend when someone asks about your plans.
That's a good challenge, actually. Pick 2, use them out loud.
And if you want the full word list and the example sentences written out, they're in the description below, along with everything else from today's episode.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. Whether you're listening while you cook, or on your way somewhere, or lying in bed at the end of a long week, we're really glad you're here.
And genuinely, we hope your weekend has one good anchor in it. Just one thing you'll remember on Tuesday.
That's all it takes. This is Mia.
And this is Leo.
You've been listening to the English Anchor podcast. Take care of your English and enjoy your weekend.
Bye for now.